In this video we will introduce Date Picker Part 2. Now let's implement our functionality. Recall that I have a button that changes the date, a label to demonstrate the current date, another label to hold a result, and finally the date picker. Here I have, for the result of the date, my date picker and my button to change the date. I also have an integer for year, month, and day, and a static final integer for the date dialog ID. Within my onCreate method, I call setCurrentDateOnView. If we take a look at this, I find or retrieve my components, I get the calendar, and then on my label, I set the current month, day, and year. And I also set it in my date picker. I also added an on-click listener to my button change date. When it is clicked, I'm going to call show dialog with the ID. I also have a method called onCreateDialog, which uses a switch by the ID and returns a new date picker dialog, setting the year, month, and day, and the date picker listener. Here I have the date picker listener. So here we're defining the date picker listener and initializing it with a listener. When the dialog is closed, we will call the below method, and we will set the selected date into the text view, which is our label, and also the date picker. Now let's demonstrate our functionality. I already have the Android emulator up and running. I also have already installed my app on the emulator. If you want to start the emulator and start the app, first select the project where the app resides. Right click on it, select Run As, and then Android Application. Let's take a look at our emulator. Here we have our dates, and I have my button, which will allow me to change the date, and we can see that I changed from February to March. And now the date changed. This concludes our discussion of Date Picker Part 2.